What's going on, everybody? My name is MGTheFuture. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys an exclusive tutorial for the Maschine Masters. Today's topic is going to be about sample interpolation, and it's in a reference to what would Just Blaze do. And I was reminded by this when Just Blaze and Swizz Beatz had that beat battle the other week, and I was going through some of the different catalogs these guys had and making playlists. And when I was going through a lot of Just Blaze joints, especially from the Rockefeller Blueprint era, I noticed most of the samples that was used are not the actual samples of the original record. Meaning, we know there's a reference to a sampled song, of course, and they're credited as such. However, the parts that we hear in the final instrumental have been changed or replayed. And that's where interpolation comes from. Interpolation is when you play the melody or musical parts of another track. And this way you get out of paying so much of your royalties or publishing to the original performer and copyright holder. Instead, you pay a different type of fee and get a different kind of approval because it becomes your own master, or you record your own master in interpolating. The Neptunes does this a lot on Nelly's Hot in Here. And I'm pretty sure Kanye West and Just Blaze, Kanye still today, but back in the Blueprint days, Just Blaze and them had a few engineers and producers who have later went on to kind of talk about it on different forums. Who they are is irrelevant, but what's important is to know is that these guys are trained musicians and hire formal musicians to replay the samples, aka interpolation. So I kind of want to touch on that because we see a lot of people are coming up with new ideas and different ways to help producers with that same issue, sample clearance, hence the Japanese pack that I made and so on. However, you can kind of do this yourself, even if you have really limited music theory under your belt. So here I'm going to take this guitar sample. I'm using Ableton Live. This can apply to other programs that allow you to convert audio to MIDI, such as Melodyne, which is standalone. It also comes with Studio One, Newtone, which comes with Fruity Loops. I'm not sure if Reason has gotten there yet. There's quite a few programs, but worst come to worst, you guys can get Ableton or Melodyne. But even if you don't have that and you can play by ear, the same theories would apply. So check this sample out. So this is a perfect loop of a flamenco style guitar riff. It's the main instrument by itself, which is perfect for interpolation in this way. Other samples mixed with other harmonic content or layered with different frequencies from different instruments don't always convert as well. You can still do it, but you have to do way more homework in cleaning up the MIDI data. In this case, when you have EP solos, piano solos, or guitar solos, they shine. So what I'm going to do with this particular sample is right click it. And before I get into that, before I convert it, I was going to do it this way. I was going to phase invert it by using phase left. And you'll hear it sounds a little bit different. And I can even roll off the lows. And what you can do with that is roll off the lows to ignore the bass, set a new track to resample, or in your DAW of choice, you can just export it and record it or export it. Get something like this. Mute or get rid of the original. We'll play the new version. You right click on that. Let's see if it works, because I think when you phase invert in Ableton, it may not keep the conversion, but I'm going to check and find out. Yeah, Ableton doesn't like inverted waveforms for some reason. It can't extract the data out of it. However, I've done this multitudes of times within Melodyne. Melodyne doesn't have that problem. It'll deal with it. But I'll use the original for the sake of demonstration. Then we have this. Get rid of that. And with this converted to its MIDI clip, Ableton, of course, assigns it to its own track, which is going to be a piano. Let's play it back. Decent. You can hear there's some discrepancies because of reverb and delay will cause these converters to draw the note multiple times when it shouldn't be, when it should be sustained, which is fine. We'll deal with that. But I'm going to change this to Omnisphere, and I'm going to try and assign a guitar to it to get a better idea of what it should sound like. So there's a flamenco guitar here. For the most part, it's on point, but I really just want the melody. So I'm gonna subtract the bass notes, the first layer, because you'll notice these are octaves, A sharp 2, A sharp 1, A sharp 0. So I'm gonna try to grab everything under F and get rid of it. And you could look at it, you could even quantize it. I don't always recommend this because sometimes that offset is what gives it its vibe and flair. But we could try to quantize a little bit and see what happens. Kind of throws it off. Let's try 132. Yeah, this particular example sounds way better loose, which is fine. So you'll look at it, you'll look for repeats like these. We could probably align to the chords above them and just drag them out. So once you have that and everything's starting to sound like the original sample which inspired you to begin with, you can then start changing it up. So instead of using an actual guitar sound, I can kind of deviate from that formula and do something else. So that's pretty cool. What I'm going to want to do is convert that to an audio track. And then we'll go ahead and set this to resample. We'll record over it, see what we get. All right, we'll limit it just to our guitar loop. And what's cool about that, once you have that sample converted to a MIDI instrument or virtual instrument and you convert it back to audio with your own sound, you can then build it up, chop it from there. You might even be able to change up the tempo a little bit. And what I have over here is from the Tim Kelly kit from Tim and Bob. Is just a cool little drum loop. I want to let it loop a little bit, and play it with some drums so you can kind of see this thing come to life, which is pretty dope. If you don't have this kit, it's really dope, especially the single shot drums. They're very dope. And as you can see, we go back to the original. Worlds and worlds and worlds apart. For the most part, I pick up on this from other people who do music, especially the hit songs. The hit songs are just old songs that are replayed songs, although people may not admit to it or have to credit anyone because of these techniques. You'll confirm that this is happening when you watch a DJ Mustard interview when he describes collaborating with Kanye West and not detecting that it was his source loops being used, because Kanye changed the pitch, the key, the time stretch of those loops, which is later confirmed in a different interview of Mike Dean talking about Kanye West's genius as far as him listening to things and being asked to change it to the key of D minor instead, which I think is still the DJ Mustard situation. So it's quite interesting to know that these guys who come from that school of paying people to interpolate samples still do it on original material to create new textures in our music. So although this kind of aligns with a lot what we've done with the J Dilla and Kanye West stuff individually, I wanted to focus in on this particular technique because if you ever deal with beat block and you have folders and folders of guitar loops, piano loops, EPs, you can do whatever you want, man. Like, once you have the MIDI, you can just isolate the bass and make new bass lines and start from the bass lines and play your own melodies and chords on them. Once you have it into MIDI, you can put it on as an arpeggiator. Like a lot of you guys use Free Loop. Citrus is pretty cool. Citrus has some dope arps. That'll take the whole track out of this world because the arpeggiator adds extra notes. Therefore, it's not even the same sample anymore, technically speaking. I'm not a lawyer, so don't just run with that. But in theory, it sounds good. Sounds like you wouldn't have to worry about it because your new work, based on the ARP, has different notes altogether. However, your inspiration comes from doing this. So that's all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and checking this out. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, definitely leave it bottom of the video. If you're not subscribed to our channel, definitely subscribe to Maschine Masters. You can follow us on Instagram at MGTheFuture for me, at Maschine Masters for the channel. Like the video, share the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.